This is a short lesson on how to start your ACS assessment. Now, the assessor only has one chance to form a first impression of you. If you carry out the following 10 minutes in the bay at the beginning, the assessor will form the opinion that you are competent, and it will give him confidence in your abilities. So here we go. Initial bay checks. What to do before you touch anything. When you enter the bay, you're going to have certain appliances within it. You will probably have an open flue gas fire attached to a chimney. You'll have a cooker, a flueless appliance of some sort. A gas fire is quite often the flueless appliance of choice. And you'll have an open flued appliance, a boiler or an instantaneous water heater are usually the ones used. You'll also have either an imperial meter or a metric meter. You'll have one of the two. As you know, you're going to be asked to gas rate appliances, so you must know how to do that using both of these types of meter. Also within the bay, you're going to have some books. You will have the manufacturer's instructions for every appliance within the bay. You'll also have a gas book, a Viper book or something similar, for you to be able to refer to throughout the exercise. Please use the books. That's what they're there for. You're expected to look at manufacturer's instructions. You are expected to look at the gas book. If you don't refer to them, you are probably going to make mistakes, and it will be noted that you are not referring to any of the literature. So use them. First things first, carry out a basic health and safety check of the bay. Just make sure everything looks safe. It's no use starting and then injuring yourself because there's a sharp edge or there's a hammer lying in the middle of the floor that you trip over. A basic health and safety check of the bay to make sure it's safe to work in. Then have a good look round for any open-ended pipework. Pipework that is not connected, because if you turn the gas on and there's an open end, you're going to immediately fail because you're going to fill the room up with gas coming out of an open-ended pipe. So check that the pipework is connected and has no open ends. Next, check to see if there is any pipework larger than 35 millimeters on the system that you are working on. This is important because it affects the way you will carry out your purge later on down the line. The probability is there won't be, but you must check because if you carry out the wrong purge, again, you're going to fail the assessment. The next thing to do is to get your notebook out. And then using either the MIs, the manufacturer's instructions, or the data badges on the appliances themselves, write down the heat input of all the appliances in the bay. So if you've got the plate in front of us there, it's a gas fire with a gross input of 6 kilowatts. Put open fluid gas fire, 6 kilowatts. You do that for all the appliances in the bay. You're going to have to do it anyway for your ventilation, your gas rates, this, that, and the other. So you may as well get it done now, because it saves you interrupting the flow of things later on in the test. So write down the heat input of all the appliances in the bay, and remember to make sure to mark them as gross or net. It makes a difference to your ventilation calculations and your heat input gas rate. Then check to see that all the appliances are turned off. Never start your assessment with any appliance turned on. So check that the appliances are turned off, but make sure that the isolation valve to the appliances are turned on, so that the appliances are getting a supply of gas but are turned off. If you carry out a tightness test with 1 or 2 appliances isolated from the test you're carrying out, then it's an invalid tightness test. So appliances off, isolation valves to the appliances on. Now you can actually touch something, carry out a tightness test. Make sure that the ECV is actually closing the gas system off and that it's holding tight. And obviously with your tightness test, you're making sure that the regulator is controlling the pressure of the gas. So carry out a tightness test. If the tightness test fails, then isolate one appliance by turning off the isolation valve and repeat the test. If it still fails, isolate the other appliances one by one, carrying out a tightness test each time. If the test still fails with all the appliances isolated, the fault must lie in the pipework and not internally in an appliance. Now, the way I always taught this to my students is to think of the word ambulance and just work your way through it. Remember what each letter stands for. Remember it in your head or write it down when you get into the bay. And then if you just follow this simple stepped sequence, you'll have had a good start to your assessment. So A is for appliances, and check what appliances you've got. M is for the meter, check what type of meter you've got. B is to find the books, and remember to refer to them throughout your test. U, check to make sure that the bay itself is not unsafe to work in. L, look for any open ends on the pipework. A, see if there's any pipework over 35 millimeters. N, get your notebook out and write down the kilowatts and type of each appliance. C, make sure the appliances are connected but are switched off. And then E, carry out your tightness test, which is a test of the ECV. And by carrying out this simple 10-minute routine, you will have given yourself the best base to go forward and carry out the exercises ahead of you. And good luck. If you enjoy the content and find it useful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. In that way, I'll be able to produce more and perhaps better quality videos for the future. Thank you.